So if you're in the market for a relatively inexpensive, easy to conceal, single stack 9mm handgun, guys, I want you to stay tuned. I might just have the firearm that you've been looking for. So first of all, guys, I want to say thank you to my patrons because I was able to use some of the money from the Patreon funds that you guys contribute to the channel to buy this pistol that you see right here. And I got to be honest with you, I really wasn't even planning on picking up a new concealed carry pistol, but I'm a big fan of the Ruger E-Series pistols. In fact, it was about 4 years ago to the day today that my first handgun review came up on YouTube. It was for a Ruger 9E. Now, if you're not familiar with these E-Series pistols, they're basically a more basic version of a handgun that Ruger currently offers. By the way, this handgun has been cleared. I do have some dummy rounds in it, though, that we'll use to show off the action of the handgun. Now, I did a little bit of carry with this last night with just a basic outside the waistband holster that I have. And if you're not familiar again with the Ruger EC9S, it's basically the more economy version of the Ruger LC9S. Now, the main differences between this and the LC9S, aside from about a $50 price difference, even more in some places, is the lack of adjustable sights up on the top. You've got these milled sights that are just part of the slide. You don't have any kind of an adjustable sight up on the front, no dovetailing. And again, it's just part of the milling on the front of the slide. And also you only get one magazine with it. Now in the Ruger 9E, which is basically a cheaper version of the SR9, it doesn't have any front slide serrations on it. It's a much more basic design, but essentially, for all intents and purposes, the gun is exactly the same. So real quick, let's just go over the basic features of this pistol, and I'll talk about what it's like, getting a good purchase on it, the use, the features, likes and dislikes that I have for it so far. Now my daily carry has been a Car CT9, which I've carried for almost 2 years now. And that gun's never let me down. It's been a great pistol. I fired quite a few rounds through it. It's been awesome. When it comes to concealed carry pistols, everybody has their own opinion about it. Everybody's very passionate about a carry weapon, and you should be, because you might be using this thing to defend your life someday. So it's kind of funny. I might feature a Glock 43, and somebody might say, hey, you should be carrying this gun instead, or I might feature, say, a SIG, and somebody says, hey, you should carry that brand instead. Really, guys, what it comes down to is just carry whatever you can afford and whatever works best for you. But for right now, let's go ahead and just talk about the basic features of the firearm, what can you expect if you buy it, and so on. So hang tight. All right, so talking about the Ruger EC9S, the model number is 3283. The MSRP, or suggested retail on this gun, is $299. I did pay around $220, $230 before sales tax. Got a really good price on it. It was maybe 10 bucks more than it would have cost me if I had ordered it online, and even then I'd be looking at an FFL transfer fee, so it is a better deal just simply to buy it in-house. I did purchase this pistol at SS Pawn in Lexington, Nebraska. SS Pawn's been a longtime supporter of the channel. Stan, the owner, does loan me firearms from his private collection to bring to you on the channel. And guys, go ahead and give SS Pawn a call, and they will take care of all of your firearms needs. Now, the capacity of this pistol is 7+1, so you can run 8 rounds total. Slide material is a thorough hardened alloy steel, and this is all information taken from the Ruger website. Barrel material is an alloy steel. Barrel length is 3.12 inches. The grip frame is a black high-performance glass-filled nylon. If you're familiar at all with the Ruger SR series of pistols, you already know about this material. It's a different kind of polymer from Glock. I would say it's fairly durable, if not just as durable. It's a very hard plastic, but it's also very comfortable, and it does fit the hand well. The sights are integral. Like I said, there's no adjustments you can make on the sights. Slide finish and barrel finish is just a black oxide. The width is 0.90 of an inch, so it's under an inch thick, which is something I look for in a carry gun. The weight is 17.2 ounces. I'm assuming that's going to be dry, but really, man, the weight with a good holster and a decent belt, you hardly even notice it at all. I'm going to say that this is somewhat comparable to, say, a Taurus G2S, or maybe a Glock 42 in terms of size, sorry, Glock 43 in terms of size and weight and just kind of overall feel, although it's a little bit thinner than the Glock. Rate of twist is 1 in 10. It does have 6 grooves in the barrel. The height of the pistol is 4.50 inches, and I'm assuming that's with the flush fit magazine plate on the bottom. This is not. This is the pinky extension model. I do have a couple 9-round magazines coming in the mail, and it is not California approved, and it's not Massachusetts approved and certified. Okay, so just to kind of take you through the features of the gun. So the trigger in the LC9S and the EC9S is the same trigger and should be the same mechanism that you find in the Ruger Security 9. So from the top to the bottom, what can you expect? Again, you've got these machine sights like I mentioned before. They do have some rough texture on the back of them, some lines that are cut into them, some grooves, and that will definitely help you pick up that front sight. You could maybe put some paint up on the front there if you wanted a little more definition for the target. Again, the finish is just a nice, smooth, uniform finish all the way around. Does have a nice extractor on it. The grooves are fairly wide cut, which is typical of the E-Series Ruger pistols, they tend to use a wider cut because it's cheaper and faster and easier to put on the gun, which they can then pass on to you. Like I said, I've seen these for about $50 to $70 less than the EC9S. Now, as we go into the holidays, don't get me wrong, you're probably going to find some better prices all the way around. You might find these for $199 or $189, or who knows what's going to be out there for this holiday season. Just in terms of overall grip and purchase, it does tuck far into the back of the palm. It really does remind me of a 6 Hour P365, but just, you know, a little bit thinner. If you've ever held a P365, you really feel like you can get a whole grip on the gun, a really good purchase on it. The whole grip just basically buries itself in your palm. Nothing's really sticking out. And it is a very comfortable, easy firearm to get a purchase on. Unfortunately, it's not really catered to the left-hand shooting, the southpaw crowd. We don't have any kind of controls on the right-hand side of the pistol. Not that you can't learn to work with that, but that's just something you should know. Let's see, we do have a mechanical safety on the back. I'm not a big fan of that, the thumb safety. My philosophy has always been to have as little interference as possible with your carry gun, because if you have to draw it, depending on the situation, you might not think to turn it off. Sure, you can train for it, but who knows until you get into that kind of a situation. The slide release is really hard. Okay, you're going to notice that when I try to release it, it's very difficult for me to push down or push up, but it's very small. It's also just kind of, you know, it's just kind of flush with the slide or with the lower part of the frame. When it comes to actually disassembling this pistol, I'm going to do a cleaning video on it, so I'm not going to do it for you here, but what you do is you just push down on this little tab, and there is a takedown pin. You have to pull the slide back about 1/4 of an inch, and then you have to get a little paper clip and push through on that side in order to get the pin out to take the gun apart. Now, in a bad situation, a shootout situation, you have any kind of a situation you're in where you have to disassemble your gun, God forbid that happens, having to try to find a paper clip might not be the most convenient thing. So that's one little mark against it. I wish they would have just had something simple, say like the Sky CPX2, where it just has a pin that you pull out and it's easy to disassemble. As for the texturing on the grip, it's a nice rough texture. It does grip well. I wish it had maybe a little more texture around the sides or the back. Maybe at some point I'll do some stippling on it or put some sort of Talon tape on it and so on. Really no rail on the front. I'm not sure what's out there. There might be somebody that manufactures some sort of a light or a laser that you can bolt onto the front of it or put on the front of it, but again, on just a simple concealed carry gun, that's usually not an issue. Something else that kind of bothers me, although you really won't find yourself rolling around in the dirt with this thing, is just the amount of space that you have between the barrel and the slide. There's a pretty good gap here, so you almost have to worry about debris or something getting in there, possibly causing some issues on your second shot. You know, obviously I would hope that that wouldn't happen, but you never know until you actually get there. You know what's going to take place. I have medium-sized hands, and again, I have no trouble getting a good grip on the gun. For a while I was running it with just the flush fit magazine plate on the bottom, but again, have not done that yet. Really, just in terms of carry, I do like having that pinky on there because it feels like when I pull it, that little extra leverage you get on the bottom part of the grip really makes it easier for you to remove. We'll talk about the trigger pull a little bit because it's one of the lightest triggers I've ever had on a carry gun, which love it or hate it, you know, everybody has their own opinions about the trigger. We'll go ahead and just charge a dummy round in it. Again, as you can see right there, we just have these old snap cap rounds, and there's nothing in there right now. So we'll go ahead and just charge a dummy round. It does have the magazine disconnect, which some people don't like. Ruger's big on their safety features, and again, it does have the mechanical safety, which again, these could be two turnoffs for somebody who's looking into this pistol. Okay, now normally I top charge it, but because I'm kind of crowded up here with the camera, we're just gonna go ahead and slingshot it. There we go, we got the first round in there, put the safety on. Okay. All right. So again, the trigger itself, again, I'll be ejecting some dummy rounds to show you the reset. You've got I wish this was set back just a little bit because it really is a bit of a stretch to get your finger down there. If you have gloves on, you might find yourself having some trouble with that too. And again, not to be overly critical of an inexpensive pocket carry pistol, but maybe with the design, I wish it had a few different design aspects incorporated into it. So again, you've got about a ½ inch of pull here. Very soft. It does hit that wall. You go about another ¼ inch or so. Make that another ½ inch. There we go. So check out the reset. Again, just the dummy rounds. It's a short reset. I'd say it's probably about a ½ inch. Okay. And we'll pull the trigger again. Again, you don't have any kind of a second strike capability, unlike the Taurus pistol. So again, overall, you know, just the way that it loads, just the way that it fits and feels, it feels good. Now, I'm not going to make a recommendation on this pistol right now because I've only had it for about 48 hours, and unfortunately, I have not had a chance to take it to the range yet and shoot it. So this is just an initial impressions and unboxing, just something to kind of get this gun in your head as a possible carry piece for you. Magazines, if you go on eBay, I'm finding 2 Ruger magazines, 2 7-round magazines with the additional flat base plates and the pinky extensions for about $38, which is not a bad deal for a 2-pack. The single 9mm magazines run about $30 a piece. So I ordered a couple of those. I've got a few of those coming, and I'm just going to run those with the 7-rounder. I don't know if I'd want to keep the 9s primarily or the 7s primarily and then put the 9s as a backup if I get into a bad situation. And just a quick little look at the magazine. Like I said, you do get a flush fit base plate that comes with it. I currently have it downstairs with my pistol gearbox, but it's just going to look just like this. If you take that little stock off the front of it, very slim, very thin, nice rugged construction. They feel very solid, feel kind of like a 1911 magazine. Again, decent machining and finish all the way around. Nice shiny finish on it. So yeah, magazines are not bad. Like I said, these run about $20 a piece if you buy one, or a 2-pack on eBay for about, I'd say $38, something like that. Or you can get the single 9-round magazines with a little bit of extension on the bottom for $22, $23 if I'm not mistaken. So got a lot of options out there for magazines at this time. I do have a holster coming from Hidden Hybrid Holsters. We'll see how that works with it. I'm pretty excited. I've never tried a holster from that company before, but again, I think it's going to be something kind of fun to test out and try out on the channel. And something else there I wanted to mention before I forget. So you don't exactly have a loaded chamber indicator, which kind of surprised me because Ruger's big on their safety features on their pistols. But you do have a little inspection port up here on the top of the slide. And you can look down there and you'd be able to see the brass shell, okay, of the round loaded in the chamber. So that's something that's kind of nice to have. In terms of size, it's only an inch longer and an inch taller than the Ruger LCP. So if you want to get away from a 380 and go with the 9mm, I would say definitely check this model out. You know, even if you buy the second magazine, you're still looking at about $20 to $30 less than an LC9S. So you are still going to save money if you go with the E-Series. And again, E-Series pistols, fantastic value for the money. Now, I have not had a chance to fire this firearm yet, if I had mentioned that before. And I cannot recommend this gun at this time until I get a chance to take it out and shoot it, see how it feels, make sure it's going to be reliable. So I just wanted to get this initial unboxing out to you just to talk about it a little bit and just to show it off a little bit. Let you know that from what I see, it seems to be a solid build firearm. This is probably the 5th or 6th firearm I purchased from Ruger in about the last 5 years, and I've not had any problems with any of the guns I've ever bought from them. They all tend to have the same kind of fit and finish. They're very just kind of run-of-the-mill, but also a nice solid design, simple design, nothing too crazy. And again, this has a nice smooth textures, nice rounded surfaces, very easy to conceal and draw from. Nothing's really going to snag on it, and that's kind of part of the compromise of having this tiny slide release slide stop, and then also the safety. Again, the problem with the safety that I have, it's a little bit, you know, to re-engage it might be a little bit tougher for you. So probably going to train with it on just so that I'm always ready to just double check it, whether I hate to see this thing engage, and so that's why I'm kind of up in the air about it. I know that they make a pro model that is offered without the safety if I'm not mistaken, so might be something down the road. If they make an EC9S without a safety, I might go that route. But I also ran into this issue when I bought one of the first Smith & Wesson shields, and nonetheless with enough training I was able to make it work. So anyway guys, that is it. That's just my initial little first look. Oh yeah, real quick before we forget, let's take a look and see what's in the box here. Alright, so in the box you just got your usual packing material. They do give you a dummy magazine to show that it is unloaded. It did come with the chamber flag, which I've since taken out. You do get your usual manuals. You have a supplement manual to the LC9S and then also the EC9S because there's going to be a few differences in the part numbers. Got a thank you from Ruger. You got some offer for some gear. And I believe I got a couple, some stickers floating around in here somewhere. They do throw a few different things in there for you too, which is kind of nice. Again, made in the USA, which is really nice. Pointless gun lock. Otherwise, guys, I think that's pretty much about it. The gun was fairly clean when it came out of the box and had no problems with it at all. Again, you just get that single magazine with it, so keep that in mind if you purchase one of these. Otherwise, I've been really happy with what I've seen so far. I mean, it feels good. I'm already carrying it, even though I haven't fired it yet, but I'm going to assume it's going to work if it needs to. But again, I will get it to the range as soon as I can. But guys, that's it. I want to thank you for joining me today. Again, just a quick look at the EC9S. Again, a firearm that's been out on the market for a while now, probably a year. I know there's a million videos on YouTube about it, but I wanted to bring it to my viewers. So if you like what you see, please like or subscribe, guys. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Gunstreamer, over on guntube.org, UGEtube, gunchannels.com. Get over there and get a membership if you don't have one yet. Otherwise, I think that's about it. More content coming your way. We'll get this out to the range and test it out. See how it runs and go from there. But otherwise, guys, I want you to have fun. I want you to be safe. I want you to carry if you can legally. And as you know, we will talk to you soon. All right, take care, guys. Bye-bye.